Hey YouTube, basically said to hell with the stand because I have no idea where I put it. I wanted to make this quick video on a little experiment I did just today, and you're the first to hear about it. My neighbor and a good friend of mine, Matt, is an atheist. He's going to be 16 in just a few weeks, and I did not know at the time, but he had never even heard of the Bible, or Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Noah, Adam and Eve, the creation story, nothing. Now, in case you think I must live in some kind of crazy area, no, there's about 17 different Catholic churches within a 3-mile radius of me. In fact, when the bells go off, you know it. Schools do have a zero-tolerance policy for religion, but that's kind of every public school, except for some weird ones. So he's had no indoctrination of any kind at all. His parents are both atheists, his siblings are atheists, and just younger than he is. They wouldn't know what God is until he met me, and he was interested in my videos. He was on there, and he was like, with me, he was sitting next to me, and he's like, what are you even talking about? So I stopped the video right there, and I said, what do you mean? Just something clicked in my head. This guy has no idea what I'm talking about. It's a basic video on God. Do you know who God is? It was zero understanding of what I was even talking about. So I went on YouTube and found right from the Christian websites the exact word-for-word translations in English, of course, not the thee and thou, so he wouldn't even think it was old. Translations of the Genesis story. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and the sea and the void, and the whole 9 yards. And explained to him before the video was shown that over 1 billion people believe this to be true. Okay? Sit next to me, show him the video on Genesis. After about 25 minutes or so, he was like, so there was nothing, and then there was light. He really loved that. He was like, and then God said, let there be light. What? He did that to himself. He goes, what? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and then there was just plants, bloop, 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 and animals, and he made all these weird noises, like, he didn't get it. I said, yes, this is what they believe. He's like, what about evolution? I was like, well, let's just hold that off for a second. Remember, this is what they believe is true. He's like, okay. He's actually slightly worried, you could tell. Not about it being true, about their sanity. Then we go to the story of Noah, which he heard something about a boat and animals, and had always assumed it was a fairy tale, so this was a lot harder to explain. That they really believe this is true, and I had to go through more of the details, and then he was like, and now he's looking at me, he's 16, he's in science, and he says, how on earth did they get all the animals from even this continent onto the ark? He was confused. And I'm like, this is what they believe. I just kept saying that. I didn't even introduce the faith concept yet. And we discussed Moses, which he knew about the parting of the Red Sea. He didn't know that it was the Red Sea. He again thought it was a fairy tale like Jack and the Beanstalk, The Little Mermaid. He thought it was a fairy tale. So that was a little more difficult too, and I had to go through quite graphic descriptions of everything that happened from the burning bush all the way to when they part the Red Sea and go across. And when I told him about how God fed them with bread coming down from the sky, he looked at me and said, "This is absolute bullshit." So, that's what happens when you introduce an atheist who's never even heard of God to the supposed book written by God. They think it's bullshit. Smack to the face for Christians. Another point for atheists. Take care, YouTube.